Welcome back. 5 things she did to lose 35 pounds in 8 months without crash diets. Now, what if I told you that losing 35 pounds in 8 months doesn't have to mean crash diets, extreme workouts, or giving up your favorite snacks? Here's what actually worked for someone who posted on Reddit that pretty much fits what I would coach with the Live Align method. See if you can relate to this story. Headline: lost 35 pounds in 8 months, low progress, but it finally feels sustainable. I was this many pounds. I left it out for privacy. When I began my adventure 8 months ago, I wasn't in a bad place, but I felt stuck, exhausted all the time, and uncomfortable in my clothes. I've made numerous attempts to reduce my weight, but each time I went too far, I gave up after a few weeks. I made a self promise to do things differently this time, no all or nothing or crash diets, just little adjustments that I can genuinely follow. I feel so much lighter now that I weigh 35 fewer pounds, both mentally and physically. I have more energy, my clothing fits differently, and I genuinely believe that I can sustain this. Please don't give up if you're in the middle of it and it seems like nothing is changing. Despite its slowness, it is functioning. Making wise decisions one at a time does add up. Click like if that's something you can relate to in terms of struggles that you face or trying all or nothing diets or wondering if something's wrong with you. And then eventually some of the results that you're hoping for in terms of feeling lighter, more confident, more energized, and all that stuff. In this video, I'm going to give you some of the things that she used and what she found to be effective and break that down for you in a coaching way. If it's your first time here, my name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I help business owners lose weight and feel their best without crash diets or guilt. If you're tired of all or nothing approaches and you're wondering how you can create a plan so you can have sustainable weight loss, the Live Align scorecard is linked below. It's a 3-minute quiz. It's free and it gives you your next step personalized based on your answers. So the first thing they said, I started going for daily walks simply for half an hour after supper. That is a really great strategy. It's effective. I linked this below. Does walking burn belly fat? Because going on daily walks is a small step, even just a half an hour. That's more activity than you used to do. And you get benefits from doing that. And there's tons of benefits to physical activity. You're recommended to get about 150 minutes of moderate activity per week with the physical activity guidelines. So that's just a great start in any way to do it. The second thing she did, I started keeping a food journal, but not obsessively. Instead of punishing myself, I used it to learn. This is essential for awareness, understanding what you're currently doing if you want to change your habits. Most people will just jump into an all or nothing or crash diet and then not really have a baseline, and so they feel bad about themselves. Or they'll do stuff, they'll start recording and grow that awareness, but then they'll feel bad when they don't meet the goals that they've set for themselves and they beat themselves up. One thing I like to point out sometimes is that you don't have to feel bad about yourself to change your habits. We have something going on in the culture where you believe that being like tough on yourself or being hard on yourself or being mean or like extra punishing is the most effective way to make changes. And what that usually does is just wears down your confidence and self-esteem, and it makes it harder for you to make the changes that you want. You feel bad about yourself. You feel like you're mentally weak. You feel like, why can't I do this? And you don't give yourself a system or the support that you need in order to make the changes sustainable. So I really love the second one. I started keeping a food journal. Try that for yourself and then use it to learn. If you have certain patterns, you can make adjustments to stay in your practice and make the changes that you want over time. That's a really good tip. The third thing that she did, I continued to indulge in my favorite snacks while concentrating on consuming adequate protein and nutritious meals. Now, I've covered this in a couple ways in this channel. I'll link that below. How often can you eat dessert and still lose weight? And a big thing when it comes to my coaching is based on not being restrictive, right? You don't have to cut out foods because you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to eat fewer calories in order to lose weight, anything like that. My coaching is guilt-free health coaching is based on a question: what does a healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? And what happens when people, they get stuck when they think they have to cut out some of their favorite foods, and then you're not leading a fulfilling life. You just feel like you can't have the things that you want. And that makes it more difficult to keep those foods out of your life. So then when you have them, you feel like, oh, something's wrong with me, versus like, it's okay to like delicious foods that you enjoy and you've always enjoyed. You just want to be mindful of how it fits into the big picture of the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. Now, a really good strategy that this lady was using: consuming adequate protein and nutritious meals means you have less appetite for high fat foods and less room to overeat high sugar foods. This is a big one in terms of it's kind of like crowding out some of that less healthy food by making sure you're getting the nutrition that you need underneath. And so what happens when you're like super hungry, you're more likely to go for high fat foods. Like if you miss a couple meals and you're like, I'm gonna have a whole pizza or whatever, chicken tenders and fries, or like something really greasy and high fat in order to make up for that. And what happens, those high fat foods have a high concentration of calories in them per volume, like a more calorie dense food. So it's easier to overeat foods. And those fried foods, especially, they don't have a lot of other nutrients in terms of vitamins and minerals. So that if you get enough protein, you'll be doing better with that, with the hunger management and stuff. And then also the nutritious meals, usually you consider that with like more fiber, more micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and all that stuff. And what that does is that takes up space in your stomach. It keeps you from feeling too hungry. And then you're less likely to just overeat like a sweet food, like a dessert or something. Like if you want a dessert, you won't be as hungry when you're eating it. And then you're less likely to eat a huge portion of that. You know, you can have half a slice of cheesecake instead of a full one, and you'll feel satisfied with that instead of like, oh, I'm using this cheesecake as a meal replacement kind of thing. So this tip here, consuming adequate protein and nutritious meals, like she said, that the lady who lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks, great tip. I love this. All right. 4, I began doing twice weekly strength training. I used to detest it, but now it's one of my favorite aspects of the week. And I was recently talking about this in a video. I'll link it below. 11 benefits of weightlifting for business owners. This is another one of those physical activity guidelines. Strength training is really good for your bones, and it supports your weight loss goals. And it gives you a sense of accomplishment. There's tons of benefits to strength training. And so if you are able to start doing it, especially when you're looking into weight loss programming and how you can do it sustainably, lifting weights and strength training or body weight training, anything like that, Pilates, yoga, there's also strength training in a way. These things have a huge impact. So another great tip, twice weekly strength training, maybe some accountability and programming could help. I can help you with that, or a local personal trainer. Makes it easier to start and easier to continue. And then you feel like you're accomplishing something and you build the body you want instead of just feeling like you're taking away a bunch of food that you enjoy. So I'm a huge fan. Strength training, it's how I got into fitness and health, and I recommend that for you too. 5, when the scale didn't move for weeks at a time, I would have given up. However, I continue to tell myself that even if growth is gradual, it is still progress. In retrospect, it truly added up. And they went on to say, please don't give up if you're in the middle of it. So this is probably, it's hard to say what's the biggest part, but weight loss takes time. And this is a big part of the live aligned method, is realizing that it's not an all or nothing situation for a little bit. It takes time. It is an extended journey, and your health journey is your whole life. Your health journey continues even after your weight loss thing, or even if you're not thinking about your weight. You've had a health journey your entire life, and then it kind of goes until you are no longer living. So weight loss takes time. I made a video about this. Stop asking how fast I can lose weight. Ask this instead. That way you can start to think about, what it takes in terms of longevity and sustainability, right? They say easy come, easy go. Well, it's more like easy go, easy come back in terms of weight loss. It takes time and practice. So that's why I always in my videos, and it's a big part, it's a third part of live aligned method, is keep practicing, is understanding that it's a skill that you have to develop in different conditions in order to get the results that you want, especially when it comes to healthy eating and activity levels, right? If you are strength training to get stronger over time, like you will get stronger with that progressive overload kind of thing. If you were losing weight gradually, maybe a typical reference is about like 1 pound a week or half a pound a week. Over time, that adds up to the cumulative effect of the results that you're looking for in terms of confidence or fitness or appearance and all that stuff. So keep this in there. It's a good tip. If it doesn't move for weeks at a time, staying motivated, staying in practice for what you're intending to do, especially if it's things you enjoy doing, like weightlifting, strength training, you have a sustainable diet. What else? You're keeping a food journal. You just have awareness of the things, the choices that you're making every day, and you're going for walks. And you can see some cool things on your walks too. So those are 5 tips that helped her lose 35 pounds. These are things that I like to help people do when it comes to sustainable weight loss. Another thing to consider, I made another video about this. We are what we repeatedly do in terms of sustainability and practice. Your body's going to reflect what you do with it over a long period of time. So if you're doing these healthier habits more often than not, then you're going to get the results, the body of that, in addition to your environment and genetics, if that supports weight loss as well. So 5 things to keep in mind here. If you want help, the first step is to take that free Live Aligned scorecard that's linked below. Check it out. And then next, you can watch any of those videos I've talked about, the link below, or I'll put wondering if you need a health coach. What does a health coach do? I will show it to you there. So that's today's message. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, keep practicing. Peace.